You're listening to KSG podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about what is ASEAN. Source for the content is the Indian Express. The annual summit of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, under the chairmanship of Cambodia, was held from 10th of November to 13th of November 2022. Amid the war in Ukraine and contestation between US and China, the 10-member regional grouping stressed its common interest and concern, such as strengthening energy cooperation and people-to-people connectivity. Indonesia's President Joko Widodo mentioned the idea of a new Cold War amid increasing tensions between the United States and China, saying ASEAN would not become a proxy to any powers. With a combined population of 700 million people that has long been seen as a relatively stable and unified grouping, especially when compared to other regions of the world like Europe or South Asia, ASEAN has also remained important for India. We explain its history and development. Now, what is India's link with ASEAN? Apart from the individual ties that India has had with these countries, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said ASEAN is central to India's Act East policy, which focuses on the extended neighborhood in the Asia-Pacific region. The policy was originally conceived as an economic initiative but has gained political, strategic, and cultural dimensions, including the establishment of institutional mechanisms for dialogue and cooperation. In 2018, ASEAN leaders were the chief guests at India's Republic Day parade. India is part of the ASEAN Plus 6 grouping, which includes China, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, and Australia as well. In 2010, a free trade agreement was also signed and entered into force between India and ASEAN. While India was part of negotiations to join the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership in 2020, it ultimately decided not to do so. However, in the last 7 years, trade has grown in terms of value, barring the pandemic years of 2020 and 2021. ASEAN itself has recently faced issues that complicate coordination, such as the rise of China and its claims over the South China Sea, and the issue of military conflict in Myanmar. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com.